On September 1st, Mark Noonan officially began his role as the commissioner of the Canadian Premier League, the second person to have ever held the position. His expertise in the sports marketing world has seen him hold positions with the United States Soccer Federation and Major League Soccer. And now he has hit the ground running in the Canadian Premier League. As we welcome you back to our show, we're getting ready for the Come On match of the week. And we also welcome to the show Commissioner Noonan, who's out in BC. And yes, only a few weeks on the job, Mr. Noonan, and you already have a big announcement to make. The floor is all yours.
Good afternoon. Welcome to BC. Looking forward to the Pacific Forge match today. What we're going to announce today is that we are going to, beginning immediately with this season, recognize and reward our regular season champion, as well as the playoff champions. We're going to have two different awards starting this year. So the purpose is, the hardest thing to do in our league is to be the best team over the 28-game regular season, and that hasn't been recognized. It hasn't been rewarded in the past, and we're going to start doing that. We're going to have a cash award for the regular season equal to that of what we're awarding for the playoffs and the CPL final. And so we're excited to announce that. We're actually going to go retro and recognize the winners of the regular season since the beginning of our history. And we're excited because it's the hardest thing to do in our league is to be the best team over 28 games.
Yeah, Commissioner Noonan, there is something very special about someone who wins the regular season, and knowing that there's a trophy involved in that. There obviously, as you mentioned, will be a financial benefits to that too. Why make the announcement, though, at this time? Why not wait to the end of the year? Why was it important to get the message out at this moment?
You know, a couple reasons. One is that we should have been doing it from the beginning of the year, and two is it makes the games really meaningful as we get to the end of our season. And every one of these games is going to count, not just to be able to see who's going to qualify for the playoffs, but who's going to finish first and be recognized as that champion of the regular season.
Well, now you've made us all excited because you're making this announcement a couple weeks into your tenure as the second commissioner of the CPL. Are there any other announcements that you foresee making in the short future here at the CPL?
Yeah. We're going to have some announcements, but none that I can break right now. But the one thing I will say about this announcement is that as we head into the 2023 season, we're going to properly brand each one of these awards. We're going to put hardware against each one of these awards. So right now, we thought it was really important to do it for this season. We'll have the cash, the monetary award, and obviously the prestige of that. But we're just going to phase it in. We didn't want to wait until next season, but next season we're going to have full-blown branding of each one of the awards, full-blown trophies and hardware for each one of these awards.
Well, the Canadian Premier League continues to grow, even just in its fourth season, and Commissioner Noonan, you're adding to that. So, awesome announcement. Really looking forward to the trophy that will be awarded, and really appreciate you taking the time here on our show to make the announcement.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, and let's hope for a great high-scoring match here in BC.
Yes, that is exactly what we would all love to see here tonight, but we also love to see this. So starting in 2023, we will see the official trophy, but also great, Ollie, that they're going to retroactively award, the winners, obviously, with Cavalry and Forge. Those are the two teams that have done so in the previous years, not looking at that 2020 year that was in the bubble that was on the island. But, what does it mean to officially acknowledge a regular season champion?
Yeah, it's important for a few reasons, I think. Firstly, from a competitive standpoint, you just want to reward the teams that, put in this effort over a 28-game season. Like the commissioner said, it's the hardest thing to do. I think it's important from a sporting perspective to recognize that. But we talk about this all the time as well. If you're going to grow the league, and if you're really going to, put the league in people's consciousness, build the interest in the league, you need to make the entire regular season meaningful and important, right? And I think sometimes you lose that a little bit in a playoff system where it kind of feels like a qualification process more more than it does a real championship to finish in first place and to claim that trophy that will be there next year. So I'm really pleased that the commissioner's come in and he's clearly made it, not just something to work on going forwards, but like a really immediate priority here and making a change already.
Yeah, you're not going to get any complaints from either Ali and I. We feel like we've been talking about this for about a year and a half ourselves, so we just love this, preaching to the choir. It's important, never more important if governing bodies or sports around the world to make sure that every game is of meaning. There's so much more for people to choose to do everywhere. We're seeing things happen. We're going to see fundamental changes in the way North American sports are put together. You cannot just have the NBA. NBA are looking at doing it. They cannot have 82 games played in the regular season if games not matter and charge the public lots of money to come and watch a game that doesn't matter. And I've said it from before, this regular season, the Canadian Premier League was 112 games, and we're here broadcasting them. They're exciting games, but they cannot feel like a qualifying for a Formula One Grand Prix or the first 2 days of a golf major until we get to what really matters, which is 3 games and a knockout competition at the end. The commissioner is fundamentally correct when he says it's the hardest thing to do. Reward it with a trophy, and then you can get things like you do in European football and world football. You can have double winners. It can mean a lot. You can lift the trophy at the end of the regular season and subsequently lift one at the end of the playoffs. And time will tell which one is more valuable. Which one is more valuable to that club? Manchester City is still wanting to win a UEFA Champions League. That's more valuable to them than a Premier League this year because they haven't got it. So storylines will develop like that, and long may they continue. I love it.
I tried to get out of him if we would see any other changes. I know we will, but I was hoping he'd slip up just a little bit. But he didn't. Either way, fantastic change, and I think a lot of people are very excited because, like you mentioned, this is also something else that their team can vie for. And for the players themselves, and you're talking about financial benefits, I don't know about you, but I'd be hustling too for that. All right, the Canadian men will be back in action for a couple friendlies here as they continue to tune up for Qatar 2022. They'll be taking on Qatar, by the way. That'll be in Vienna, Austria. Then they'll make their way to Bratislava, Slovakia, where they will face Uruguay. All of that will be seen right here on One Soccer.